So, greetings from Freetown, Sierra Leone.
Yep.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Francis Okeke. I am a Nigerian, but I'm based here in Sierra Leone. I am one of the co-founder of Mosabi. I'm happy to be part of this interview.
And thanks for meeting at night. If anybody's wondering, wow, is Freetown really like that? Well, yeah, parts of Freetown
Yeah.
are this
I mean,
nice.
yeah.
We're here because the power is out in some places. This place has good Wi-Fi, and so we're doing the interview from here. Mosabi, your company, is a financial literacy platform.
Yeah, it's a financial literacy platform that provides financial literacy training for the underserved community and for individuals in the less developed communities. So, and also for SMEs and the micro business individuals.
So this is really interesting because the end user does not pay for the service, right? Some like a smallholder farmer or somebody with a woman selling fruit or vegetables at the side of the road does not pay to use your education platform.
Yes, absolutely. So we are B2B business, so we do not charge our users for any of our content. So our users do not pay to use Mosabi app. It's entirely free for our users, and at the end of the day, they also get incentivized for going through the lessons by linking them up to financial service provider and any other products actually that are available in our marketplace.
So bingo, there you go. The business model. This is not a for-profit. It's not a charity. You are a company, a Delaware corporation, actually.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
And,
Enterprise.
and so it's both banks and NGOs.
NGOs, yeah. We work with both banks, NGOs, banks,
Really?
NGOs, and then other organizations that are essentially promoting financial inclusion in the economy.
Everything from Santander. You even have a contract in Mexico now.
Yeah, we have a contract already in Mexico with Santander, and then we have in Sierra Leone we are working with Carrefour, UNCDF, Orange, Money SL, and then with SMT and then other organizations, etc., etc.
So everything from Catholic relief services to banks, and I guess the most interesting question that everybody wants to know is, what was your biggest challenge? How did you get over it? And your biggest piece of advice for people. So do we want to cover them in those orders? Your biggest challenge so far, how you got over it, and what have you learned? What do you wish you knew now? What do you wish you knew 4 years ago that you know now?
So, I mean, just like any other business, I mean, every business has its own ups and downs. And then I think for us as a company, our biggest challenge so far has been getting new contracts because we are B2B platform and our users do not pay for our services. So, and then COVID came, and before COVID, it was actually a lot easier to push harder on some of these contracts when you go for conferences and then other programs. But then COVID came, and that actually, put a stop to some of these conferences and some of these other programs and all that. But then it becomes really, really hard because it takes a while to seal some of these contracts, and that's one of the biggest challenge. And then another one is the challenge around the use of technology. We provide our trainings by mobile phones, like Android mobile phones. At the initial stage when we started with one delivery channels, and that's the Mosabi app on Android phones. But then when we had the challenges and then realizes that there are so many people on the grassroots level that do not have access to smartphones. So then the question is, how do we bring them on board? Then we started trying out other processes, did some research, came up with other strategies, and then we kind of finally came up with other channels. So right now, Mosabi is not just only available on the Android smartphones. You can access Mosabi app right now, via USSD code, via small phones, and then chatbot and all that.
To translate for people who might not be familiar with all the lingo, which thank you, you've been teaching me. If you have one of those old push-button Nokia phones that some of us had up until about 20, 15 years ago, whenever smartphones came out, the push-button phones, some of them are still being used, and you guys have, I forget if it's now DDS, what do you call it again?
USSD.
USSD. Basically,
it's like a code, like a short code that you dial and then you follow the voice prompt or the text messages, and then it takes you through the entire process.
So even if you're using an old phone, you don't need a smartphone. If you're one of these people that is using a push-button phone, you can still do purely auditory, purely by voice recordings, with prompts, and basically a course on financial literacy, even if you don't have a smartphone, which is really cool to see. And your biggest advice to people, having lived in challenging environments?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest advice to people is like keep pushing. Don't give up. I mean, the journey is not always as smooth as you can ever anticipate, but then it's part of the process. I mean, it's part of the process. So whenever you get hit the roadblock, you keep pushing, and then be willing to accept when you fail, and then failure is part of the process. It's not bad when things goes not the way you planned it or you expected it to be. Keep pushing, stay focused. Be always willing to innovate and pivot when necessary, and then
Perfect. So why don't we call that part one, and we'll see if we record again whether we can get some specific questions answered. But right now we're coming in at under 7.5 minutes, and we're going to stop there and call this part one, and hopefully there's a part two. Stay tuned.